Go ahead.
Thank you. So this is more of an audience topic and less of something for us to present, but it's extremely important. And I think, although the term given here is social media, I think we can use additionally AI also, because it's not only social media, not only Google, or it's not only Instagram and TikToks, but it is also ChatGPT and Perplexity and others. I will be dividing this into two areas from a physician perspective, and then we'll go to the patient perspective. So let us start off with a very simple thing. Can social media make us better doctors? So now we can take diverse position, and please chip in. So do you think that instead of textbooks, it is much easier for us to go through social media and AI and get information? So is this advancement, or you think that it curtails the cuts corners and doesn't give us the actual backdrop information? So there's no pathophysiology, nothing else, but you just get the crisp information. Does it make us more informed doctor or less informed doctor? So you have to.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be sharing the platform with Sir. I think at this point in time, social media has captured everyone's imagination, including doctors. We are also reading content from there. We are also learning from other doctors. I think, would it be fair to say that a 30-second reel can compensate in-depth reading or bedside medicine? I don't think so. But however, I think in certain ways that we do get a little bit of sense of what the public perception about what their interest is. That's something I think certain doctors have figured it out. We know certain doctors have become major influencers. So they know exactly the pulse of the people. They know what topic to talk on, etc. And this is something that I brush up on because patients are as educated now. So I brush up on and make sure that they are guided correctly.
Now, this is what you just talked about. Now, should we become content creators? Now, what has happened is, now you'll see influencers, doctors coming and creating YouTube videos. Now, if we come to a conference, if I ask him to give him a talk, 100% of his slides will have a reference, which is proof that he has taken the material from some authentic source. So you can go back and cross-check him. But when I go to the YouTube and I say, and I've just seen a very recent YouTube video of a doctor saying, which time of the day, which garam masala should be taken? Now, is it value addition? Because this patient will come and ask you this question. So instead of the valued time that you'll spend with your patient on examination, odor, as you said, and all other things, I'll be spending more time on garam masala, whether it should be taken or not, or what else. So do you think we as physicians should become influencers? And if yes, then should there be some sort of a ethics or a standards or something else with which we take the information on board? Or it's just, come on, we have a space for personal, advertising and get more patients.
I think absolutely rightly said. I think you made a fair point that some of our publications, whatever we're going to either publications are going to be get peer reviewed or all our talks are going to have references. Now, social media is not like that, right? Social media, anybody can come up with anything. And sometimes it becomes difficult for us to counter them also, right? Because when a patient comes in, like Sir said, he would have been like, for instance, well, the impression would have formed on, right? To change that narrative, it becomes a challenge.
So, Arun, this patient told me, I have checked your social account, you have 2,000 followers. This man has 1.5 million followers who said about garam masala. So what does it tell you about my status?
Exactly. Now that becomes a challenge. We lose the game straight away. That being said, I think it's also important, essential, as we clinicians, as responsible people, to also spread out some correct information. Because there's so much of misinformation, so much of pseudo people there, right? And who's not talking about GLP-1? Everyone, right? Every day there's some story which, even we have to go check whether it is true or not, right? So that becomes a huge challenge. So having said that, it is essential that some of us should be there on social media, but how much of traction we are going to get, we don't know yet. That depends upon each other's charm, etc. So the other the challenge about is how much of facts that we are going to talk about, right? We shouldn't get pulled into these hooks. Some of our social media managers, they tell us, start with a hook. What is a hook? Should again capture people's imagination. It is not necessarily very scientific. It should just grab the attention. and then they say follow it up with content. So where is the line? So those are the challenges.
So I think there's a lot of things in a clinical practice which we tell our patients which they don't want to hear. For example, telling a patient that type 2 diabetes is a chronic disease, it will be with you lifelong, is something that the patient doesn't want to hear. So when they get a YouTube content, someone saying, why don't you try something and you'll be cured in 6 months, it is natural, I think, for a lot of patients to try it out and come back with 400 sugar back to us after 6 months. So we can't stop it. But do you think we also utilize the social media sometimes to disseminate proper information?
Absolutely, like how I said before. Yes, sir. We should be there. We should spread, disseminate, percolate correct information. Like exactly you hit the nail on the head, on its head. Like anybody who's going to offer quick fix solutions, people are going to follow them, right? Chronic disorder, yes. Somebody's giving solution, immediate reversal, right? We saw what happened with reversal. Reversal is not for everyone, right? There is, even the United Kingdom has guidelines for reversal. 5 years of diabetes, within 5 years, 7.5 HbA1c. If you have a weight reduction possible of over 10 kgs, preferably 15, right? That's the captive community that UK itself is rolling. But what's happening here? Everybody's falling prey to reversal. Even patients who are multiple boluses of insulin after 25 years of diabetes with EGFR of 42 has gone into a reversal program and burnt his fingers and come back, right? Those are the challenges that we see.
This slide is dedicated to the Health Secretary of the US, Robert Kennedy Jr., who has stopped vaccination, and now they have the highest rates of measles in their country. And he has stopped pasteurized milk. He's asking everyone to take raw milk. So thanks, we'll have less tuberculosis. They'll have more. We are very happy. So, okay. And this is again entirely disseminated through Twitter. So there's a social media responsible wherever he comes and he talks about vaccines, to withdraw all vaccines and to withdraw pasteurized milk and to withdraw all medical products. He has stopped funding for NIH, so from research, and only nutraceuticals should be taken. Now, this is the thing we need to understand, that this is social media. Now, I'll put you in a different position. Now, AI has come with deepfakes. You might not be sitting here, but there might be your video going on with your face saying something else. Now, how do you protect against that?
I hope the AI does better than me and get some following.
Now, the doctors, how do we doctors then approach such scenario when a patient walks into a chamber and actually destroys not our time but also their time in discussing such things, which is eating into your normal consultancy? Do you think that you just ask them to shut up, or do you encourage them, or do you have some ways of cutting it short?
I think it depends upon how long they take it. I think some people can get on your nerves. I think it is okay if a patient asks, some doubts, obviously because they're flooded with information. It is also the concern to raise some questions. And it is also our duty to, still work our way through and reassure the patient. These are the real facts. Don't trust the reels. It's the facts. Don't confuse your reels with the consultations, right? A reel can grab your attention, but the consultation is what is going to change your life. So that is something that we have to reinforce, reiterate to our patients.
So can we have a show of hand? How many of you interact with your patients on social media, say like a WhatsApp, or send them YouTube videos? Anyone interacts with them? No, you have. Yeah, please.
As much as there's information, there's misinformation. So the way I cut short this thing is, you come for a consultation, and you come to, if you want consultation, see, this information is there everywhere. Interpreting information the right way, information is free for everybody. Previously, if you want a medical journal, we need to go to 3 libraries to get them somewhere where it is available. That's not the scenario. Information is available. The most important thing is interpreting information. You're giving me my consultation fees to interpret this information. You ask me questions, not anything based on social media. They are not authenticated information. The other thing which was is where we should be there, I think societies like professional bodies and societies to give the right information in real-like manner maybe helps that, so no individual is targeted and the society can give these small bits of information so that the right information can be followed. So also telling them everybody is an influencer, so
But see, Sanjay, this is a public health problem. Yeah. We can't address this large volume of patients in a chamber. We see a tip of the iceberg. and people come informed. Now, if they come well informed, then our job is cut short. It's better for us. But they come with misinformation, as you said, then we are wasting a lot of time.
There's a lot of information which is not interpreted correctly. That's the whole story.
It depends on the time of our day we get stressed out or not too, right?
So where do you draw the line? Suppose you have a busy practice, but you think that I also have sufficient time to go online. Do you think we should draw a line, or you think...
I think...
Because every single influencer who's going online is thinking he's doing a great job.
Correct.
You know,
Absolutely.
no one is thinking he's doing a bad job. But without a reference, without a backdrop knowledge, you are actually disseminating a huge amount of misinformation. And the fan following, now you know you can monetize. And you start getting money out of it also.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
Absolutely. The influences. Do you think, sir, that there should be some guidelines about who should be talking what?
This started in China. Now, everybody, if somebody is an influencer, he should have the right qualification to put out that information. I think that's the government's job.
Again,
Especially,
we can't do
that. It's not freedom of speech is there for everybody. They can talk anything. But if it is, has to be a
Policyholders have to reinforce. Of course, agreed.
stakeholders, the government, and all of them coming together to say that we need to regulate this content.
So probably this is the patient's perspective, as you said, that we think that they are coming well informed, but they are actually coming with more malinformation or misinformation rather than the true information. And a lot of our time is actually spent in, again, breaking those before we come back to our own consultation. So, you know, that becomes a tedious thing. As a doctor, I remember our childhood, when my parents used to take us outside, because we used to have the kring phone. So you are untraceable. You know, the phone might be ringing in your home because there's no mobile phone concept. So you're untraceable. Today, Arun, how fatigued mentally and physically do you feel because you are available 24 hours a day? So as a doctor, how do you feel that you have lost your personal space completely? Because at 12 a.m. today morning, I was sleeping in this hotel. I got a WhatsApp which I saw in the morning. Are you coming to the chamber tomorrow? Now, how important was that a message should come at 12 a.m.? But that's possible simply because you are available. So do you think this has actually helped us in a clinical practice, or it's stressing us a bit more?
Absolutely. I think personally we have to make time for ourselves, make sure that we have our own personal time, and there should be a cutoff point. What I do is I put my phone on silent after work, and that's it. I'm looking at it only the next day. So I don't answer calls,
So
etc.
please, suggestions. I've seen a prescription which is beautiful, which is a lower part has 5
I'm in
lines.
private practice.
Yeah. Which
I am doing it. I deal with chronic care. I'm blessed I'm not in critical, etc. But I do have my physician assistants who will troubleshoot. But we need time for ourselves. There's no way. Yeah. I think even critical care emergencies, even critical care emergencies, what happens is generally the duty doctor on call is there in the hospital, right? So for critical care ICU, the patient has to call that particular number where the assigned doctor is going to handle that mobile for 24 hours or that particular time. I think that's the best way to handle such things.
So that's an interesting part you pointed out. So just because my patient can have an emergency and stroke, so I should be available 24 hours on my phone. I disagree. If it's an emergency, the patient's job is to go to an emergency. The patient's job is not to call a doctor. You're wasting time. So it is wrong to think that I have given you this access. It doesn't mean that you can call me 24 hours for an emergency. Emergency, you have to go to the emergency. It is not calling a doctor. And if you fatigue me for 24 hours, it's you yourself who's going to get a bad consultation the very next day. Because if I'm mentally tired, I won't be fresh enough to give you that consultation. So I agree. Because as I said, I don't know the solution. I'm asking what the solutions are. One beautiful prescription had, the prescription space was so much and the write-up was so much. From morning 8 to 10, my breakfast time, do not call. From 10 to 12:50 is my chamber time, don't call. So it was so much, time-wise, it was written in the prescription so beautifully. But I still think it is not foolproof.
I think, as you again brought that point, there were a couple of doctors where I've seen between 8 and 9 you can call the mobile.
Yes, so we must make them aware that probably you might not find me at all time of the day. Take the help of a local doctor. See, we don't have a UK system where, just in your vicinity they come and visit you. Your patients may come from districts to visit you. How am I going to manage an emergency having somewhere in the district? So your local physician is extremely important. So, and we must liaise, I think. We should not say it's my patient and it's not your patient. It should be our patient, and there should be some shared decision making, I think.
Maybe in prescription, they may write down like for emergency, go to the nearest hospital, or in your locality they mention, or that.
Yeah, so when I was doing my MD in Chennai, I remember my boss used to, at 8 o'clock, my first job was to write 50 inland letters. This is pre-mobile days. So I used to write 50 inland letters. Thank you, dear physician, for sending the patient. We have done so and so from Salem, from this, and we are sending the patient back. And my job was to take those letters in a rubber band, put it in the letterbox, and come. So there was a constant thing, because that physician is happy, the patient is going back after getting treated in some tertiary care, and the referral is also coming through. So the patient is taking care at the primary care level. What is happening in cities nowadays that we become the primary, secondary, tertiary caregivers. And hence, I think the whole burden comes on us. Fair enough. This is the last part, and I think this is what the future holds for us, and we have to be very, very careful. There is a series in Geo Hotstar, if you want, you can see that, called The Capture, where in order to produce evidence, you're catching a bus on the bus stop, and suddenly you're just leaving a lady on the bus stop, and you're going off. And the next picture, real time, is you are stabbing that lady, and the evidence is created, and you're behind bar. You cannot do anything about it. So I think the digital imprint, the way we are going, the phone is listening to you all the time. So please put on those settings and put off those settings, which is extremely important, because once the AI truly catches up, it is no longer we criticizing the influencers. You suddenly find you're here and you are the influencer somewhere else. Your face might be there. So we have to be extremely careful in handling AI. And do you use more Google or ChatGPT today?
I use ChatGPT.
Oh, yes. I exclusively use ChatGPT today. It gives me more precise information than searching.
And you can train the ChatGPT.
And you
keep
can talk to
educating
them
the
like a
ChatGPT.
friend.
Exactly.
You can go ahead with it. So
It
how
learns
many
along
of you use LLM models? And how many, can we see how many of you use Google? No one use Google? ChatGPT. Now we have our own perplexity also, come on. That's also a problem.
And Google, it could be Gemini or Claude, any of those.
So these slides that I've showed you are all created by Notebook LM. I just told Notebook LM, I have a talk in Chennai, this is my topic. This is exactly created by them.
I just want another question.
So,
How many of you don't have social media accounts?
yeah, so how many of you do not have any social media accounts? Have means it's being used. I have deactivated my Facebook, it is running now in my name. It is still running, you cannot leave this. It's like the Hotel California song, you can enter, you can't leave.
I don't have. I have only WhatsApp. That also don't answer.
I have WhatsApp for my patients. Again, coming back to having a WhatsApp, just for your insulin titration, I give my patients my WhatsApp. But I'm flooded with good morning, good evening, good afternoon, roses, and whatever. Dad, you can never do anything. Yeah, I agree.
This is only for medical, not for good morning. Then they are blocked. One way to do it is monetize.
So charge them for the messages that they
That's
send
what
you.
he's saying, monetize.
That's what he's saying. They'll stop messaging. That's it. That's a good idea.
So I personally feel our human interaction is primary as physician. These are amplifiers. They are there behind aiding us. They cannot become primary source. In the UK, AI is taking over in the radiology department, because radiology is everything information related. But as a physician, imagine the last talk in an odor. Can you expect an AI doctor to even think about odor or smell someone? You can't even do that. So we will, I think, still remain relevant. We will remain in the primary source. Have a little bit, I was listening to the other lecture there, a little bit touch. Even if you don't do a pulse BP, a little tap does wonders to a lot of our patients, especially if the A1C is good. Not monetize A1C as in the UK, but yes. So anything else you want to discuss? I just brought a few slides to stimulate discussion. Madam, anything else that you think relevant in this social media era?
So AI in medical education, what are your thoughts on that? Because I work as a professor right now in MMC. So I give an assignment, I give a research topic, I know it comes from ChatGPT or people, especially undergrads, they don't know that the ChatGPT is hallucinating. So, how your thoughts on that?
I'll give you a simple answer here. I have been correcting a lot of dissertation topics for the UK, for 4 universities. I've been doing that. So I had privy to a lot of plagiarism softwares. Now, those were plagiarism software. Now, they have softwares where from ChatGPT, I think one of them was forwarded by Dr. Srina to me, where the editors can sit and look at the speed at which it was written. So if you type, it has a particular type of speed. But if you have asked the ChatGPT, it is done at a phenomenal speed. So the speed, they will tell you whether it is from ChatGPT or not. Plus, there are a few cues. If you see a statement starting with off these things required, these are exclusively ChatGPT, so they will catch you nowadays. My last publication was entirely ChatGPT written. Having done so, I then told ChatGPT, please humanize it. It was humanized by ChatGPT. Then I corrected the grammar with Grammarly, and then I sent it to them, and it got through.
No plagiarism
That's the
checks.
best part, it got through.
So that is where we stand now.
To adopt.
Yes, sir.
There's no other choice.
There's nothing wrong in using ChatGPT in writing a paper. The ChatGPT should be used as an assistant, not as your master. It should be your idea. You can ask ChatGPT, bring these references, it will bring references, half of them will be wrong. Correct it individually. I use ChatGPT, but every reference, every line, I instruct. In fact, I spend more time using ChatGPT to write a paper than writing myself.
So
The depth of that
So I
paper is
agree with
more
you, but the
than-
problem is not that. The problem is when you're putting it in a journal, the journals are saying that if it's from ChatGPT, we will not accept it.
No, we don't. We do. I'm an editorial board member of many journals.
Yes.
We obviously allow editorial decisions. We allow people to use AI, but you should disclose it properly. What you use the AI for. Of course, we can use ChatGPT or any of the AI software, but it's very easy to differentiate something that is thought by ChatGPT, written by ChatGPT, or thought by you, and using AI as an assistant. It will do the job of 500 assistants. That's what AI is for, not as our master. And we can't do anything without AI. In the publishing world, you must, my recommendation, you must use AI when you write papers. The depth of that paper, but should be sincere paper. You can't just ask ChatGPT, write a paper. It will write a paper in 5 minutes, but that will be useless paper. It will be very easy for a reviewer, even without the AI.
Any-
Yes, of course, everybody is going to adopt AI. Nobody can stay without AI. 100%, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, the critical point or the catch point was sincerely.
Yeah.
So, and sincerity is something which is so subjective that when I'm sitting in front of the computer, only me and the computer knows who is sincere, who is not. The rest of the world probably won't know about it.